Name something specific a man hates to hear his wife say she wants him to do on the weekend. On a scale of 1 to 10, how sexy do you look in your birthday suit? 10. Name something that's known for sucking blood. Vampire. You might be able to tell a person's age just by looking at their what? Face. Hair. Name something kids leave in the bathtub. The toys. Like the water soap. You need 55 points for the money. Name something specific a man hates to hear his wife say she wants him to do on the weekend. You said. You said.
Hi, this is Dr. Brenda with the bench, and I'm trying to be ingenious right now. I really am. Trying to see how I can get this live going. Why? Trying to turn down my TV and the volume is acting up. Hmm. Whew. Excuse me. So, what I'm doing right now is trying to get this kind of set. I'm closing out some windows that are popping up so I can avoid seeing them. Yeah, great. And I'm just testing. It's like late at night, like about midnight. Yeah, it is. So I'm getting a chance. Oh, this is not recording all of me. See if I can do it over there. Still not working. Thanks. So what I'm trying to do is to do my R is for relational health. In my B.E.E.R.S series, B.E.E.R.S, and my relational series. And at the same time, I'm going live. If anybody have a question they would like to ask with my relational health portion of my B.E.E.R.S workshop, then you can ask a question. I do have this on Facebook Live, YouTube Live, and I'm going to be talking about relational health. Now, generally with relational health, I categorize our relationships in three different areas. I say one is like a parental relationship, and I say parental because parental relationships usually is like from the love emotion and love feeling that you have for a parent to a child, or from a child to a parent. Now, also included in that parental relationship is love that you have for another individual, like you would have for a parent or a child. Like we may come in contact with people and we learn to care about them and love who they are. And it goes from that casual feeling of, oh, I wish you well, you'd be on your way, to the fact that you may interact with them more and you develop a loving, caring, concern type of relationship with them. So it's parental in the sense that there's a it's more than just a casual type of a love attraction that you have for them. And then there is a platonic love. And this it comes down to three P's, and that is the parental love, sure. And I want to be able to stay on those topics: your parental love, your platonic love, and your pleasure type of relationship. So you have relationships with individuals who you have a concern or care for, like you don't want anything to happen to them and you want to make sure you protect them, watch over them. And as small as a matter as it could be a coworker. You love them to an extent where you have some interaction and you care about one. You may only interact with one another at work, but that is a parental like relationship, because there's a concern and a care, a sense of you want to protect them and they want to protect you. So that's that parental relationship, as I just explained. And then the platonic relationship is the relationship that you would have with an individual that somebody you come in contact with. There's no um general need of embracing or connecting, or we hug one another. It's just platonic. You run into each other, you see one another whenever you see one another. It could be that business relationship where all we do is business and we keep it moving. And sometimes that business relationship can turn to a parental relationship, in that you develop greater love for that individual because you built a different type of relationship with them. And in relational health, having a great relational health, there is another portion of teaching that I'll do at another time. It's like God actually showed me like 7 different ways that people invest into relationships. And I had someone do workshop, 7 different people do a workshop on how individuals, they enter into relationships like they enter into money relationships. Like some people enter into relationships like they have a bank account. Now, a bank account is stable, we would both say. You put your money in it. As long as you keep putting money into it, you're going to always have that bank account. You're going to always be able to go back to that bank account because you've invested into it. But the thing about that is that that type of relationship is like having a um a bank account, just a regular bank account. Generally no interest, meaning that you're getting no return from that relationship. But as long as you keep putting and contributing to it, what's going to happen is you're going to keep it. You're going to still have it, even though you're not getting a return from it, but you are getting some benefits from it. You're getting benefits because it's a place where you're able to do transactions in terms of paying bills, having it as a sense of stability. It shows, if you got a checking account, that matters opposed to someone who may not, when it comes to purchasing a home, when it comes to even doing auto pay and things of that nature from it. So it matters whether you do it from a debit card or a bank account. So then there is that that people enter into relationships like they enter, into have bank accounts. And that is, that is that. As long as you have it, as I said, you will, as long as you contribute to it, you'll always have that relationship, even though you're not getting that great of a return. But there is a reason why you have it. That's one type of relationship. I'll do a series on that at a later time. But then getting back to the relational health, where I was talking about the parental type of relationship you have with people, where you just show general love and concern and care, empathy. You show you check up on them, they may check up on you. It's more than just that platonic, meaning that platonic one may be one that you don't check up on one another. You may, treat one another well when you're in one another's presence. You don't wish one another harm, but it's just a platonic relationship. It's nothing romantic, nothing but maybe two neighbors walking past and how you doing. Those are those platonic relationships, and it can range from one to another level. I mean, in terms of platonic. And then you have those pleasure relationships, whatever type of pleasure you receive from that relationship. It could be a pleasure relationship where you're getting some counseling. You're getting pleasure out of it because it's helping you to be able to release some frustration or some joy, some pain, some happiness. So there's some pleasure in it because you're allowed to use your emotions with this relationship. So then, and that would fall under relationships you have with your spouse, relationships you have with another person. It could be, and I wouldn't categorize your best girlfriend or your best buddy as a pleasure relationship. I would categorize that in the parental relationship because it's a deeper type of love. It's a deeper type of love. You don't just love them like, oh, I know that, bro. But this person you spend time with, that's your buddy because you interact, you trust one another, you gain some loyalty towards one another. And overall, that is what that pleasure or that parental relationship is for that one. But the pleasure relationship may be the person you go to for the kissing and the hugging, or the cuddling and the cozy. As they say now a day, Netflix and I heard somebody say something. Gosh, it had Netflix and chill, and then there was something. Oh God, something and live. Oh, I wish I would have like remembered it. But I really enjoy reading it while I was on social media prior to now. So it's pretty cool, to be able to have relational health. So generally that's what we're talking about when it comes to relational health. And sometimes, you have to know when it's time. And I was speaking to a young lady today, and she was saying something her mother had said, knowing when to let go. Specifically, I can't say it exactly how she said it, but in my notes, because I had already planned to do this before, my time I needed to take off because I wasn't feeling so fantastic. But as she, and just seeing my notes and listening to what she said, I'm like, this is the exact same thing she was saying. And it says, how am I handling letting go? Letting go of relationships, because sometimes you have to let go of some relationships to have a healthy, to be healthy. If a relationship is not serving you to a point where you're benefiting from it, or you can say you feel good about yourself after holding that conversation, or just being around a person, then that is the type of person you want to be in your life. You want to always evaluate your relationships and see how you can on the relationship or how the relationship is causing you to grow, because every relationship that you are a part of, it literally should give you some growth, some development. Because if it's true relationships that you're having with people, then you want honesty. You want somebody to share with you your flaws, your challenges, so that you can, look back at yourself. We all have to look back at ourselves. It's none of us that have arrived, no matter, what level I believe that we've come to, because uh, um, you know, we interact with different people. And I think when you show love towards another person, and you are able to be in a healthy relationship with them, that matters, because we all need someone in our life that we can have healthy relationships with. And it's great to have relationships with your siblings, and it's great to have relationship with your cousins, and your matriarchs and your patriarchs, and those who are descendants, those who are under you. I mean, it's just the best feeling in the world. And I'm sure many of you can attest to it when you walk into a room and see the people you love, even though you haven't seen them maybe in a while. And it's like it brings out a whole nother sense of love for you, because it's like, I'm glad to see you. And now you're able to express that, hug or kiss one another. That relational health and going around the people who care about you, and people who you care about, makes all the difference. And we've always heard, don't go. And the first time I've ever heard, I was in a church service, and someone said, don't go where you're tolerated, go where you're celebrated. And it was a period of time in my life when I was just being tolerated, being put up with. I thought it was, something different, but I just realized that's what it was. So a minister had just ministered a word to me, and it was like, don't go where you're tolerated, go where you're celebrated. And it takes some time to embrace, when people are sharing things with you, because honesty will allow you to say, okay, well, maybe I could do that a little different. Oh, I didn't mean to do that. Oh, I didn't mean to do that. Sometimes the phone rings quite a bit, and I'm in the middle of a recording. Now I am going to get back to this. Yeah. So how am I handling letting go? There are some relationships that we definitely have to let go. We have to sometimes keep things at an arm's distance, because resume. We're at keep things at an arm's distance, because we have what different types of relationships: those parental relationships, those platonic relationships, and those pleasure relationships. You could remember them as PPP. Yep. That's how I remember them: PPP, parental, platonic, and pleasure. Yep. So it's all purposeful. So how are you letting go? And are you able to move on once you let go? Because letting go is one thing, but moving on is another. And moving on may take a little while longer because of the attachment. Sometimes attachments are hard to separate from. So if you have an attachment to someone, and you need to let it go, it may take time, depending upon the purpose your relationship existed. If it's one of those erotic, or, as I said, the pleasure relationships, sometimes those pleasure relationships is because you're getting something out of it. Who's going to keep burning their finger on a stove unless there's some pleasure they're deriving from it? So we keep seeing individuals because there's some pleasure we're deriving out of it. Oh, don't be surprised if one of your friends like to hang around you because they're getting some pleasure out of being around you. Either you are creating some positive endorphins in them to make them feel good about themselves. Sometimes I like to go to comedy shows because when I'm not feeling so great, when I'm dealing with even letting go or moving on from relationships, I need to do something to fill up that time. So in order to do something to fill up that time, I try to um, fill it up with things to do, because this is all a part of my relational health, having a good relational health. Okay, so healthy. I'm healthy because I'm able to walk on. I'm able to move on. I'm able to let go because that's what makes me healthy. If it's an unhealthy attachment in that relationship, you're calling constantly, you're texting to the point where you have to get like a restraining order on an individual, that's excessive and that's unnecessary, to have um to be made to do or not to do, that external pressure. So just being in a position where it's moving on, letting go, and growing up. Sometimes relationships don't work out. It could be, how you treat one another. It could be that you're not treating a person the way they want to be treated and they no longer can endure it. And they just got to get away for their own mental health. And I think people have different reasons. The truth be told, there are some people who break up because, maybe the romantic part of the relationship isn't there anymore. And that spark. Some people marry or some people connect for a security, but there was no romanticism there. So that's something you have to deal with, because if you started out because it's an arrangement and you're not attracted to one another, as time goes on, you may become attracted to one another. It's what you put in, because people have different attractions. It's attractive when somebody can pay the bills. And yes, it is. It's attractive when you can get some help around the house if you need it. It's attractive, when you need help with the kids and that spouse is there for you. It's attractive when you want a hot meal at the end of the day and it's sitting there waiting for you, or you're able to make sure that you get the food in. So those are attractive things. It's attractive when I like perfume and you buy me a bottle. That's attractive. You know what I mean? That causes me to want to draw near to you. And that's how people feel. If this person is, making me feel those good feelings, those good vibes, I'm gonna want to spend time around that person. That's because I want to build that relationship. I want to build that relationship. So building a healthy relationship takes work, to say the least. It takes a lot of work. And I'm not in a relationship. I don't have a significant other. You know, I do get opportunity to date when I can. I haven't been really dating lately, because physically I haven't been up to it. And at some point temperature's changing, so I may decide to start going on dates. But because you want to build a healthy relationship, you want to get to know people, and you don't want it to be clouded with uh intimacy, sex in the very beginning. It's like, no, you don't want to be clouded. If it's something that you want to build a relationship with someone, everybody got different views, and do whatever you feel like you want to do, because it's your life, it's your body. Work out your own soul salvation, as the scripture says. I ain't telling you what to do or what not to do, because you're going to do what you want to do anyway, and I encourage you to do that. One thing Jesus does is give us a choice. He said, choose this day who you want to serve. So you got a choice, and nobody has a right to take your choice of what you want to do away. Because I wouldn't want anybody to take my choice away. But I'm sharing with you my views on a matter. And I feel like a healthy relationship, relational health, has a lot to do with you, how you allow others to treat you, how you treat others, and how you nurture your parental relationships. And as I said before, that's like the endearing feeling. It's not just a mother and a child or a father and a child. It's that endearing love. I care about this person beyond the normal. Okay, that's platonic. I see that person, I don't wish harm on them, no bad to come to them, but it's just that we see one another, we keep it moving, and that's all it is. But then the pleasure relationships are those erotic relationships, or those relationships where we gain some pleasure out of. And I gain pleasure out of watching some of these uh, people eat noodles. I love to see people eat, and I don't know why I'm fascinated by it, but I'm like, cause I be feeling like, gosh, I wonder how that tastes. Man, it's good to be able to watch some of these programs because it also passes time away, and it gives you something to do when there may not be anything to do. So in relational health, sometimes I get lonely, and that's the truth of the matter. Some in relational health, my honesty is that I get lonely. I believe God gave us one another to be able to solve that lonely problem. I do believe that. But lonely for the feel and touch of my children is a different type of lonely for the feel and touch of my companion. It's a different type of lonely for the feel and touch of my girlfriends, or a different type of lonely for the feel and touch of, my mental team, mental team. Because there has to be some people mentally that you able to connect with and be able to share ideas and talents and abilities and goals and futures. Need people to push you, and people you can push, people you can encourage, and people that can encourage you. And don't ever take for granted. I'm gonna share with you relational health. That's why that's what I'm talking about. So I was struggling with I shared with you in past videos. I think I'm going to cut this off, and then I'll start it back because I'm taping, I'm doing a video. I won't cut off the live, but I will cut off the recording because sometimes it doesn't allow me to record a long time. But I'll end it and I'll start it back up. So thanks for being patient with me. You know, now I'm gonna So this is Dr. Brenda with the Corner Bench, and I'm starting a second video. I was talking about relational health, and I was saying how in the very beginning I was sharing how difficult it was for me to start this and be consistent with it, and with the weight loss, because that's what it really all boiled down to. And starting this, I'm putting and adding more content. But before I ever started putting anything up, some family members was visiting from North Carolina, and there was a gentleman who was with the family members, and he was one of the most encouraging. And it's sad that I don't know people's name, but I know who he is. But he has said something that encouraged me in such a way that he says to go ahead and do. He felt like I was speaking useful. He said that he had gotten more out of holding a conversation with me that day than, you know, generally he thought he would generally, but he just thought he gained a lot of insight just from us talking, holding a conversation. And I appreciated him saying that, because I was doing a little struggle with doing this and not doing this, and oh, I don't want to start it and not finish, or because life is happening every day for everybody. And he made me really stop putting it off. He made me stop putting it off. And I'm thankful for him, because I even um think back to that day we were sitting on the porch, and he said it may be something that could benefit us all, just to be able to come here and to be on the social media. And that was encouraging. Some might think, oh, well, that's not nothing, but it's something. It's big, because if you don't have people, pushing you and telling you, and this guy, we haven't sat in one another's presence regularly, but it's amazing when sometimes, could be people around you and they're so used to seeing you, and you are so familiar to them that they don't see sometimes the other things in you, or may not know how to express those things that they may see in you. And we don't always express those things we see in others. So for the fact that he saw something that he felt like somebody needed to hear, I appreciate him encouraging me to do that. And I'm doing it, you know. Woo, woo. He caused me to stop putting it off. And I appreciate him for that. And I'm glad. So it's giving me, because I'm a teacher. I'm a teacher by heart. I remember when I was younger, and I'm like, I had an older sister, she passed on. And to God be the glory. But we had this closet. It was a nice sized closet, like as big as a bathroom, but it was actually deeper, a big bathroom. And I love big bathrooms. I like to go to places just because of the bathrooms. They're spacious. But anyway, and there was a closet there. So I was always the school teacher, you know, with my siblings and my cousins, because there was always a lot of us. And I was always the school teacher there. And I had the room, prepared, because I was a teacher. And I've always been the teacher. So I'm comfortable doing it, and I always try to get some insight, understanding over the course of my life. I'm the type of person, I ask a lot of questions, because things have to make sense to me. I'll keep asking the question until the light bulb come on, until the lock happens, until the floodgates open. Like, I get it now. So I asked enough questions in order to be able to get it. So, but I think that that gentleman, and I have to get his name, maybe I'll say it in another session, but that gentleman, um don't even know how, he was such an encouragement to me. And that's a building a relationship. I will always have an endearing feeling towards that person, because I believe he was one, to a fear, push me past a fear. Yeah. So relationships are great. Relational health. And sometimes check on folk as much as you can, because truth be told, sometimes people are going through stuff and we don't get a chance to check on them, or we don't take the time to check on them. So I always would say, make sure that you check on your nucleus. If you don't get a chance to check on, the extended, check on the nucleus, like the parents check on the children, and the children check on their children, and the children check on the parent. Yeah, check on your cousins, check on your aunties, your uncles, as much as you possibly can, especially if you have a relationship with them, those ones closest to you. Because there's always somebody talking to the other from that nucleus to the next nucleus. And if there's anything going on positive, we have graduations going on. That's relationship. Uh, um, one of my family members said her baby is about to be having a recital. Would I want to come? Of course I want to come. Invite me. I can't say that I can always come, but if I'm free, sure, why not? That's what we're here for. We're here to encourage those kids to in whatever path they want to go, so that they can know that there's somebody rooting them on and cheering for them. It's important. And then we're getting a chance to see our young children's talents, their abilities. I can't wait to do my tags, my talents, abilities, and gifts, and your skills. That's a whole nother teaching that I do, because those are the things where I talked about, and I think I may have talked about it in economical health. Sometimes you have to use your tags, your talents, your abilities, your gifts. And I'm saying TAGS, T dot A dot G dot S dot tags. Your talents, your abilities, your gifts, and your skills. And in all of those areas, you can be a beginner, you can be pretty much developed in it, but then sometimes you get to a place of expertise. And in every area, with those tags, that may be the extra thing that brings the income in for you. You might have a set thing going on for your livelihood, but you might need a second stream. You may want something a little more. And I'm so sorry, I'm not paying attention to this. I should probably bring it over. So I could look like I'm really more into this camera, this recording, than I am into this live. But bear with me. Anyway, but overall, yeah. So exercising your tags, and in the midst of that, while you're using, because your tags are generally not for you. You learn about yourself, you develop them, but you're developing them to share with us. That America's Got Talent phenomenon. That's amazing, because it gives people the opportunity to come in, express all of those shows. And I probably can't call out any other one of them, but X Factor or something like that, but it gives people a chance to express their talents and give us a chance to hear their talents. It's extraordinary when people are able to express their abilities, what they're able to do. When I was younger, I did wood shop. I love wood shop, and I love wood to this day. I really do. I just think it's beautiful. I like to feel it when I come in contact. I like textures. I like textures in my food. I like textures in my clothes. I want texture. So, um, we used to make these beautiful a piece of wood, and then we would have to nail those teeny little nails wherever the stencil told us to nail it. Oh my God. And we would take that string and rope that string or wrap that string around the nails in a certain way, create color, and put in different colors. And it would come out to be something beautiful, like a boat. Like I remember doing one. And I don't know where it is. With time you lose things. But I always felt like that was fascinating. I had the ability to do that. And did I do it again after that? No. But when I get the chance, go to a craft store. I got some grandkids, and they come and spend time with me. So that's an activity, something like that. I love to think of activities to do, because I'm building relationships with my grands, and you may not get a chance to see them all the time, and you want to see them. But we all got stuff going on. But anytime we get a chance to build those, because it makes me feel better, And I know it makes you feel better when you come in contact with people because we're working on our relational health. When I know that I can walk into a room and I can hug you because we don't have any problems that I caused, no problems I caused. Now, they may be problems, but I didn't cause them. I'm totally innocent. And I may be 100% guilty. But when I can walk into a room and I can hug and embrace you, that's a beautiful thing. And if I can't hug and embrace you, I'm happy that I got a chance to lay my eyes on you because I don't wish you no harm, no hurt. Never will and never did. So, being able to have a healthy relationship, and truth be told, like I said, letting go and moving on, you won't always have a healthy relationship with everybody. But that's when you count the cost. You count the cost of that relationship. That's family. It's going to always be family. I don't ever want to change that. Not that I ever could. But that don't mean that you have to sit in the same room if you don't feel comfortable doing it anymore. And then there may be times when you have to sit in the same room and you may pass one another. Hopefully that relationship blends to a place where you can, be able to touch one another again. Touch to me is powerful. Some people don't like to touch, but touch to me is powerful because it lets the individual know how much I care about them. That's all. That you can feel in my heart that I don't wish you no harm because I'm relationally healthy, period. I can hug you. I can embrace you because I don't feel no ill will. And that's where you keep a clean conscience when it comes to your relationships because God knows what you feel. God knows why you feel it. God knows the cause of it all. But that still don't give you a right to be harmful to others. Repay no man evil for evil, but overcome evil with good. Always do good. Always do good. Why not? Why not? Why not? So me and some friends who was going out, they treated me out to dinner. And we have elements in walking and stuff. I always feel like, and I probably said this before, I sometimes become redundant, but anyway, um, I said if I'm supposed to be a place, God will always provide a parking space close enough because He already know I'm not walking a mile. I'll keep riding home, but if I'm supposed to be there, I'll ride, I'll search, and He provides it. So this particular time we were going out to eat, and I was like, and I was driving, and I pulled straight up to the door because I know they have a little issue with walking. I pulled straight up to the door, and there was no parking space because if it was a close parking space, then I could have parked and we got out. But I was like, okay, I'm just going to put them to the door. And I know God is going to provide me a space. And it touched my heart because of that faith and having that confidence to know God is going to always take care of you. Do right by others. And it's healthy relationships. So I pulled them up to the door. Soon as I pulled them up to the door, honestly, for me going into this place to have a meal, the absolute best parking spot possible. The person came out of wherever they were, pulled out of that spot. Nobody else was contending for that spot. I was able to pull right into it. And I was so glad. I was like, thank you, God. But it happens all the time. I went to another place recently, and this place has hard parking. You got to park a far way away just to get into it, but it's a nice place to go hang out. So this particular day, I went there to sit and chill, sit with family. Soon as I rolled up there, to God be the glory, somebody was leaving the parking lot, and I was able to park right in the first spot to the door. And I don't have a handicap stick. I keep saying I'm going to apply for one, but I don't have one. But so I always rely on God to make sure to provide me with a close enough spot, because my knees can't handle but so much. And I go places where I generally don't have to climb any stairs. One. and I'm always asking you help me up. I do what I got to do to get to where I got to go. But yeah, but it's Did I stay on topic? Will anybody have a question? Hey, Scott Lucas, how are you? You're probably going. I don't know who is late. It's late, late, late. So I'm just trying to get some live. I actually do these when I can, but I'm glad I got my last video, my B.E.E.R.S, my relational health done, and I'm gonna do my social health next, and I'm not gonna do it tonight. But yeah, I enjoyed doing that. So last thing I was talking about was our tags and how our gifts. I was talking about our abilities before and our gifts. What are your gifts? Your gifts are also, used when it comes to how you interact with your relationships, your relational health. Because sometimes your gifts are the things that help you be healthy relationally. So it's like, how can I be the best version of me so that I can present that in a relationship, whether it's a business relationship, whether it's a platonic would be that business relationship, whether it's a parental relationship. How am I treating those people who are over me in terms of age? Because over me in terms of status, you know, let's not even go there, because people, we don't want the mentality of, oh, somebody think I'm better than them. I was sharing with someone. I went to visit family, and it ran into some people I enjoy seeing when I get a chance to see them. And we were talking. While I'm trying to see what part I wanted to bring on. I think it kind of escaped my thoughts. But we were sitting talking about about relationships and how to interact. And I said I always leave doors open, because even though you may have, because I live a life like people are more important than things. So if people are more important than things, and that thing that is the problem, whatever the case may be, like I said, I don't hold those issues. I'll leave it alone, but I'm gonna keep the door open. So, and that's what I said. If you know you've done everything you could to repair a relationship, and there it's the ball is out of your court, you can maybe at a later time try and reconcile at another point, especially if you love that person and you want to have a relationship with them. Maybe at a later time it would be another opportunity to be able to build that relationship. Otherwise, you may need to just let it simmer, let it phase out in terms of the emotions, because usually people break relationships because of emotions. That's why. I feel some type of way. You made me feel some type of way. I feel, or you feel, no longer the way we felt. So it's already, it's usually with emotions. Somebody did me wrong and I'm mad, I'm angry, I'm upset, I'm disappointed, I'm discouraged, I'm depressed. It's all of those emotions that come up that ruin relationship. And the emotion of, if you're cruel, I say, and the my anger management, when I'm teaching effective communication skills, I share with people, because some people are not assertive when they speak or when they try to address others. They're not as forthright or frank. I say my name is Frank because I'm gonna just say it, you know, period. Yeah, I'm sorry. And it may be, not what a person want to hear, but I say to people all the time, it's like, you have a right to say whatever you want to say, but you don't have a right to hurt somebody else's feelings. That's when we cross the line. Yeah, because we can plan, we can plot, we can conjure up the whole scenario in our mind and let it play out as we did. But it's going to destroy relationships. It's going to destroy relationships. So just the same way we concoct this stuff in our mind to be able to blow it and open up like a pressure cooker and spill on everybody else. If you open that pressure cooker up and you that pressure cooker and you open up while you steaming like that, I promise you, everybody around you gonna get hurt, and you too. You too. If you blowing up, it's nowhere in the world that you're not gonna be affected by blowing up, and you could have let it simmer and not don't say anything. If you feel like you need to what calm down before you say anything because you don't want to destroy this relationship, and you don't want to allow a situation to bring you to a place where you're destroying relationships within yourself because you have a relationship with you. How you treat yourself, how you let others treat you. That's your relationship with you. So you want to be in a position where you're not only making sure that others treat you the way that you want to be treated ultimately, but you're treating other people the way somebody said the problem with treating someone the way they who I remember the young lady. We were live on TikTok, and I remember her face as I'm thinking about it. And we were talking, and I said, treat other. We were talking, holding conversation, treat others the way others treat you. And she said, the problem is she don't like that idea in a sense. She was saying because people, she realized that people don't know how to treat themselves. So they don't know how to treat themselves. So that's why they try and treat her negatively because they don't treat themselves right. And I was like, okay, I get it. I get the logic behind it. Because there are some people that don't know how to treat themselves. They don't have a healthy relationship with themselves. They don't. You know, we can ingest stuff, we can take in stuff, we can constantly put things in us that's killing us on a regular basis. That's not a healthy relationship with ourselves. We can do things to harm us. I remember I was over my old alma mater. I was there and I was doing some anger management with some students. And there was a beautiful young lady who I got a chance to, a few young ladies, but this one particularly, she was she was having difficulty in school. She threw a chair at the teacher. And yeah. And I want to know why. Like, what would make you do that? The fact is that she wasn't mad at her teacher. She wasn't. She was upset because her and her mom was living with the auntie, and it didn't seem like the auntie was being as I don't know. Um, I don't know the right word maybe to say, but she felt like the aunt could throw them out at any time, and she was experiencing all this stress at home because she's not being treated right, her mom, but she can't take it out on the auntie in a sense because then they'll get kicked out. So she's going to school flaring up because she's still in her emotions, mad at something that's going on at home, and it breaks your heart because people are going through so much, so many things, and maybe you can help them, maybe you can't, but those are the situations, and we think is something minor, but yeah, you have to sometimes get down to the root of why people are going through. But yeah, she was having experiences at home in her living situation that caused her, and it's not justified, never is, no, not justified. Don't think I feel that way. But the fact is, there's sometimes things that happen, and people not knowing how to handle their emotions, they react out. And we need to learn, So I teach people you have a right to say what it is that you want to say, but you don't have a right to hurt someone else's feelings. And we have to be careful how, because we don't want to hurt someone. I remember when I was raising my boys, I used to always, because I was a single mom, and you're still a single mom, but all my boys are grown. But I needed to know how to raise these boys. I didn't grow up with brothers in the house with me. So, I didn't have interaction with, I had beautiful cousins like that are my brothers, but they didn't live in the house with me. So, and yeah, we go to visit them and spend a lot of time with them, but truth be told, I didn't wake up in the morning, go to sleep at night with brothers in the house. So I didn't know how to have brothers. And so a mom grow up, I have sons, I raised three sons. So I'm a woman, I'm going to teach them, how to treat a woman. And I think they treat women well. I ain't saying it perfect. Just don't let nobody treat you not well. I don't care whether they're my sons or not. Anyway, but overall, as we and I lose my thought. I don't know how I be going off on one tangent to the next, but maybe I'll get back to it because I was talking about see, I be needing help, like, but anyway, I don't remember. I was talking about relational health and having a right relationship with yourself and how you treat others. I think I was talking about you have a right to, yeah, you have a right to say what you want. That's being assertive without hurting someone else's feelings. And I think that's most important in how to be assertive. One era, I used to be the type of person where I used to hold things in. Somebody say, "Would you do this for me?" I'll be like, "Yeah," and no, I don't want to because I got something else I got to do. But I'm trying to, do this for them too. Can't please everybody. And inside of me, I can't. I don't know how to say no. I know how to say no now. But there was a time I was the type of communicator that I don't assert myself. I just put it off. Put it off. And that's not healthy because that causes issues in the body. When you saying no, when you saying yes to something you really mean no to, and you're doing it regularly all the time, it can create health issues. It's stressful. So having a balance of, yeah, I'll do that because I want to do it, or yeah, maybe I have to do it. But and we ain't talking about if you the mommy and the daddy and the kids gotta, need this and you gotta do what you gotta do. But we're talking about situations where, people may have situations going on and they could have taken care of it in a different way to be prepared for it. And now they need all of this attention and help and expect you to run to help them. Once upon a time, yeah, you can do that. But as time go on, you learn to allow people to work out their own situations and problems. Because sometimes if you allow people to work out their own situations and problems, they'll avoid going into problems that they can get around. So if you got to keep digging yourself out of something because you keep jumping in the hole, at some point you're going to get tired of jumping in the hole. And that can be a balance across the board in all areas, whether it's behavioral, emotional, economical, relational, or socially, and even spiritually. Because we can be saying, oh, this is from God, and it don't necessarily mean that it is. And that is, and that's just true. We all have that opinion, no matter what. This this has been fun. I'm glad I got a chance to do my chats, my talk. And thanks for hanging in there. And no, if you'll watch this after the live is over, but I appreciate you tuning in. This is my love. And then something to do. Mwah.